investing, mate.
I will say this about investing. Everything you do learn is cumulative. What I learned at 20 is useful.
Welcome to another special episode of Equity Mates, where we are searching for Australia's next top trader. We're a podcast that breaks down the world of investing from beginning to dividend so that you can hopefully make some returns. My name's Bryce, and as always, I'm joined by my equity buddy, Ren. How are you going, bro?
I'm very good, Bryce. How are you?
Very well. So this episode, Ren, we are going to be answering the question, how to know when to buy and sell, and how much do I buy? It's a couple of questions that we often get asked. Very good questions. So we thought we'd spend some time going through each one in a bit of detail.
Yeah, but not too much time.
Not too much time, no. So by this point, you will hopefully have deposited $50 AUD into your account, and depending on the exchange rate at the time, you'll have some USD in there ready to trade. And depending on how well you have been using your referral code, you may have some more money in there due to the fact that you can earn $5 for every person that you refer into the competition. So as we said, we often get questions asked, how much should I buy? And how do I know when is a good time to buy or to sell? So these questions don't really have a straightforward answer. They're not black and white. All depends on your goals, your investing strategy, market conditions. But there are a few tips that we can give you to help you make these decisions. At the end of the day, Ren, no one can tell you the right answer. It's certainly up to you to decide how much to buy, how much to sell, and when is a good time. But we have a few sort of strategies that we think could help you make those decisions. Do you have anything to add?
No, we do. All right, well, do you want me to start with how to know when to buy?
Yeah.
So I think you got to remember that this competition is only 6 weeks. So some of the more general advice about knowing when to buy might not be relevant here. So I think the number one piece of advice is buy on day one of the competition. You've only got 6 weeks. If you start a week late, some of your competition will have a head start on you. In general, we probably aren't big proponents of trying to time the market perfectly, but there are definitely good and bad times to buy. You don't want to buy when a company has just been on a few days of an unbelievable run. Because that run, chances are it might not continue indefinitely. But for a 6-week comp, that might be the perfect time to buy, because if it's on a run, you might be able to catch that momentum, and that it might last for a few more weeks, and that might be all you need to get on a plane to New York. So some of the advice for the 6-week comp is a little bit different to some of the advice we would probably follow in our more longer term investing. But I think the important thing is 6 weeks is, if you're not buying on day one, have a thesis or have a reason to buy. So if you know that a company is going to report in that 6 weeks and you reckon they're going to have a great report, then make sure you're buying, before the report comes out. Or if you think, I don't know, Scott Morrison will make an announcement that will do something, and as long as you're not insider trading because you have some special knowledge that no one else has, buy whatever company you think at the time before that catalyst will happen. Or, there's no, as we've said before, there's no points for originality. If you hear someone else is buying something and you think that person's pretty smart, maybe follow them into the trade. And then last but not least, just follow your gut. If you think something is going to go up, you might not be able to articulate it, but you've got 6 weeks. There's a chance for New York on the line. Don't die wondering. Your biggest regret would be having a feeling that something big's going to happen, not trusting yourself, seeing that company skyrocket, and seeing someone else get on a plane to New York and back with it. So I think for this 6 weeks, it's just about getting in, having a reason for getting in at a certain time. And if you don't have a good reason, get in early.
Yes. Don't hold back. Don't hesitate. Form a thesis or follow someone that you know. And as you said, Ren, listen to your gut. So those are some very basic ways to start thinking about how to know when to buy. To the opposite of that is how to know when to sell. And it's pretty straightforward. Sell when the conditions are opposite to your buying conditions. So, for example, if your chart is starting to look bad, and as you're saying, Ren, you might have been on a good run and it now starts to come down the other side, then in a 6-week competition, don't sort of wait for it to, I guess, try and turn back up. You've only got 6 weeks. Perhaps think about taking any profits that you'd made, getting out of the stock. Don't hesitate. If the company no longer falls into your thesis, as you said, Ren, Scott Morrison made a decision. If that decision is then turned over or something that goes against that decision, it might be a good time to sell because it will have an impact on the company. If the trader that you're following sells, think about selling as well. That would be a good opportunity to get out. If you are following someone who has a bit more experience and skill, learn from them, get a good understanding of why they are buying or selling. But if you are following someone and they sell, perhaps it's a good time. And of course, if your gut is telling you sell, maybe that is also the opportunity to sell as well. So as we said, very basic reasons as to why or how to know when to buy and sell. But then one of the other questions we get, Ren, is how much do I buy and sell? You're probably going to have 30 to 50 USD. You can put $10 into a stock if you want, but how do we know how much to buy and sell, Ren?
So I think in this case, again, the advice is a little bit different to general investing. I reckon you want to go hard here.
Yes.
As we talked about in a previous podcast, Chris Bricky won 3 ASX share market games by just going all in on one stock. That's probably not a bad strategy. Although if you aren't confident in that strategy, or you think there's a couple of good ideas out there, you can diversify, you can spread your risk around, and you can buy a few. Or, if you want, you can buy some now, buy a little bit of something else later. The options are really quite general, but I think the important thing to remember is there's only one winner. There's no prize for second place. So don't try and perfectly size all your different trades to manage your risk, because the biggest risk is coming second and feeling gutted as someone else gets on that plane.
I guess the other side of that, Ren, is how to know when to sell. So obviously a great time to sell is when you have made some profit in a short period of time. You want to take all the profit that you can and put that back into other stocks perhaps, or keep it sitting there in cash. Take those profits and then be happy with that, plan your next move. If you have decided to go all in on one company and it starts to turn, get out, maybe sell all of it and then reassess your situation, make another move. Or if you have gone with the diversify route and some of your stocks are going well, some of them aren't, maybe you could consider cutting the ones that aren't going so well and letting your winners run. So there are a few examples of how much to sell. In terms of dollar figures, I mean, it's completely up to you. At the end of the day, we're looking at percentage returns here, not dollar value returns. So you can put 100% of your cash in one, or $10, $10, $10, whatever you decide, but it's completely up to you. So Ren, I hope that kind of covers it. Pretty broad, but as we said at the start of this, there are no straightforward answers. It's not black and white. Timing the market is one of the hardest things to do. No one can really master it. The market is a beast. So it's all about, I guess, just creating your own strategy and sticking with it, backing yourself in and listening to your gut and just having a red hot crack. There's really not much you can lose. $50.
No. Well, whatever you put in.
A lot to gain.
Yeah.
All right, Ren. Well, that's a wrap. We'll move on to the next one.
Equity Mates and the people appearing in this program may have positions in the companies mentioned. This is general advice only. Please speak to a financial professional to understand how it may pertain to your individual situation.